hopefully this will work out this time. This is my fourth attempt today to do this report. I tried to do it live this morning and Google Meeting shut down right in the middle of my trading. I could not take time to get that going again. So let's quickly go through the market here. We've got this blown up, so hopefully you guys can see it good. Pre-market at 7:30, we had a jobs report. Didn't really do much, not surprising. But we did. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of a delay on these news items. And we did close a green bar for the jobs report, and it did push. So when it pushed above the high, this wick here, I went ahead and got in. But it came up here and it just kind of stalled and didn't really do anything. And so as soon as I saw this come back down, I went ahead and got out for 5 points. So each of my 5 accounts, I had basically $100 profit on it. Now, we had this bar here where we came down and rejected. And sometimes you'll get kind of a delayed move on some of these news events, especially if it's not a super exciting news event. So we pushed back up. And I thought, okay, maybe we're going to push on up for another leg here. And that's just the way it works a lot of times. So I went long here and actually lost 10 points. So gained 5 here, lost 10 there. So now I'm down 5 points, or about $100 per contract. And then all of a sudden we got this big institutional order, and these are really common early, usually within about an hour before the market opens. You'll see these big institutional orders come in, and they are very seldom wrong about market direction. And this one was not either, at least, for the first 30 minutes of the market, they're usually correct. So this came in. I waited for it to break the low of this bar to make sure we were going to get a continuation. And this is really what I've been trading, are these large institutional moves where you get a big move very quickly. And then I'll jump in and try to catch the next leg of it. And that's what I did here. And I got, looks like I got about 13 points out of that roughly. So that put me up, should have put me up a little bit, $100, probably $120 per contract on my 5 accounts. And then I didn't trade anymore until we got over here to the open. This was the open. Now there's some things to look at, and I trade the open. I trade the first 10 minutes of the day most of the time. And I do this based on a lot of information. We had been in a protracted up move overnight, which, a lot of times that tells you a lot. But after this information came out, we came down here from the bottom. We made a swing high here, but we were not even able to get back up here to where this bar initially flushed from, and this would be a balance point for sure. This line right here would be where we would need to get to just for the market makers to balance. And they weren't even able to get to there. So that gave me a little bit of a negative connotation to this. However, the market opened right here. So we're between the swing low and this swing high. And when the market opens in an area like that, you don't have a preponderance of evidence one way or the other. And then we get this little bar here. But looking at the 5-minute chart, we were underneath the moving average. So price is below the moving average. On the 5-minute chart, the 15-minute chart, we were both below the moving average. So that told me that the preponderance of traders were probably on the sell side, or at least the pressure was more on the sell side than the buy side. Anytime you don't know what to do in trading, just stay with what price is doing relative to the moving averages. If you're below the moving average, don't go long. If you're above the moving average, don't go short. And that will keep you out of most losing trades, to be quite honest. So this was our first candle off the open here. I didn't really buy that we were going to go up because everything was really under the moving average, and the fact that they were not able to even push this all the way back up to here. So I've started doing a little bit different entry here where I wait for price to break down. These are basically momentum entries. But I got in, this thing pushed down, and then it started pulling back up. So when it started pulling back up and I saw this wick forming, I went ahead and got out. But I got about 5 points right there, somewhere about that. So that was $100 per contract. So that put me up, $200. A little more than 200 probably. And then I went short here we had a rejection wick here, rejection wick here, we had another rejection wick here. So I went short here, and it pulled down, did the same thing. It pushed down, it started back up. When I got here, I went ahead and got out. So, given the fact that we were not, things were kind of chopping around, and this didn't look to me to be where we were going to have a huge move off the opening, at least not a straight move where we cover a lot of territory in a very short amount of time. I went ahead and decided to call it a day. I did manage these little trades to reach my profit goal of $400 per account. I ended up at $2,020 today. So, yesterday was a rough day on FOMC day, and I'm hoping in the future I'll just skip that day and not trade those, because I don't think I've ever made money on an FOMC day. The interest rate decision is the biggest decision there is in the markets, and there's always going to be a tremendous amount of volatility around it. So making money today was good after yesterday, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hope you guys are learning from this, and we'll keep doing these every day. Thanks for listening.